And this build, however, is not entirely mine, but it is a cooperative build. However, most everything that you see in this Coliseum is mine. The gate functions, it's redstone, I worked on it myself. It was my own design, quite proud of it. Then there's the stands over here, has coolers, all that shit. Then this part was worked on by someone else. Then, like, with all the armor stands for people on the teams, as this was like competitive mode. This is where, like, the person I made this entire Coliseum was supposed to sit. Then there's the actual castle, which was a group effort directly behind it, with a accompanying throne at the end. There are multiple different things about it. It's also somewhat a unfinished build, but still one of my better ones. One of my favorite ones. Because the Colosseum itself, like, this whole added part was a cooperative build. It was mostly other people's ideas, but I helped work on it, so I count it. Then there's the actual multi-biome areas of this map period. Another thing that I'm quite proud of. Usually that would work, where if someone steps on it, the piston below the slime will just knock them up. Fortunately, it wasn't working that time. At least not when I capture this footage. We got the redstone dancers. We put the protective glass there just in case we spawn ravagers, and those guys tend to shoot nearly everything they see. Over here, we have like we had little signs for each of us on different teams. As you can see, they're not exactly the most motivating things, but they existed. Still, they're we were definitely the most immature group. I mean, besides me, me and 3 others. Now, this entire part, mostly, albeit this part, like back here, this part was all me. Like the opening gate and the actual Coliseum itself, all me. I did it myself, and it took me like a couple hours to do so. Here's the little like watching area for like spectators that are not actually spectators, like prisoners, etc. It's a combat theater. What do you expect? Then there's the little town, which is also a all-made creation. There's the slums over here, which friend made. Most of the builds here, like, you can see that some of them are broken. Things happened with the build, but here's the temple, each devoted to a specific deity, which, just references to the builders. This I didn't actually make, but someone else did. One of the people we were working on the things with. I just want to showcase it because it's pretty damn cool, even though it's unfinished. And we never really got to finishing it. But I'll be damned if the stuff that we made in there wasn't cool. Then there's over here, which is the strip club of all things. Supposed to be a kingdom build, but of course every kingdom is a strip club. And if there isn't, you'd be fucking lying to yourself. A little mishap with the end crystals up there led to an explosion which took off half of the thing, but it's supposed to be like a little ring of fire thing. Looks nice. Then there's the chandelier that lights the whole thing up here. And finally, the last like couple things. Yeah, you see like some of the builds are destroyed. I'll have to remake those in future or something. But just ignore those. For the only real detail of this house was this. You know, someone else made this house. That was their design. It. Then there's back here, which the two builders put their names right there. It's also their team's house. It's rather bland, but you know, we weren't exactly going for the most aesthetic of all things. Then back over here, random ass fountain. Don't remember where that one was. You know, we never really ended up doing that one. And I think that's pretty much it, besides this stupid little thing. I think that's it on this one. Now these builds all in this world mostly were done by me myself with help from others, but mostly it was my work. But the context behind this one was, I build like little visual models for stories that I write, just so that when I make them later, I have good like visual representation of them. And this one was one more dear to me than anything else, so I built little scenes from them. And so here's the back room. This is supposed to be based off of Spirit Halloween, which there's one near my house, so that's where I took the inspiration of this thing from. It's a lot more scaled down than an actual Spirit Halloween that I've been in. But, you know, it's Minecraft and I don't want to fucking scale model that shit to perfect precision. But this one is like it's also connected with a party city, which once again is scaled down, but it's the same general concept. And then we move on from here to the next one, which is the restaurant. Yeah, I took my sweet ass time making this footage. Then here's the restaurant, which, you know, I took a lot of inspiration from Chuck E. Cheese's and that sort of place. Then there's like the dark, dimly lit aesthetic to it. You know? There's like janitor's closet thing. Honestly, that area scares the shit out of me because I walk in there and see the head and it honestly scares me. But anyway, moving on. There's supposed to be like the little ball pit, like jungle gym things that all Chuck E. Cheese's seem to have. The kitchen, the ball pit, which actually works. Like if you go up to the thing and drop down, you'll bounce. Because I put like a little slime block in there to somewhat simulate a ball pit, plus the colored wool. There's the back room. There's like the employees only back room. And then over here, there's like a couple I went back here for some reason. There's the bathrooms, which are rather small and compact, but once again, not very keen to scale model these things, because otherwise it'd take up half a singular flat map just to make one of these damn areas if it was entirely to scale. But also, if you can't see it, the sign says "out of order, fix this Jerry," which is also a in story joke. But I also, it's not exactly as functional as I'd like, but it's supposed to be Dance Dance Revolution, which, you know, people love doing those. I, however, was never the best at those sort of things. And I think that's about it for the restaurant. Then the next one is these next two buildings nearby. This one is the garden, which honestly one of my more scenic builds. It's yeah, I'm fairly certain this is one of the ones I did specifically alone. And I'd say it's a lot more scenic. Yeah, I already said that. I'm dumb. Don't mind me. But I put like a lot of effort into making that one look good. And it's one of the only times that I'd like to say that I would go to one of these sort of things, you know? Not that sort of person, but this looks pretty damn cool. I honestly forgot what was down here, but then turns out there's like a giant hole down there. I forgot what the reason for that was. But anyway. So anyway, on to one of the more final builds of this area, of this map, I think, which is the abandoned government research facility. Which the inspiration for this one was episode of one shot of Critical Role, which, you know, if anyone's seen that, specifically Liam's. Liam's quest, I think it's full circle. Liam's quest full circle, the end area. So yeah, if any of you actually watch Critical Role, watch that episode. This whole area was inspired by that. Unfortunately, still, like a lot of things, unfinished. This one is another. Oh yeah, it's on the same map, but this one is based off the Arctic Research Facility from the game Deceit. It's great. It's still unfinished, like many things here. And then there's this. So this map I made for friends of mine as a joke because my friends, as a meme, said they would go out on a date together. So I made them an entire fairgrounds and restaurant. And this over here is something my friend who ironically said as a meme that she would go on a date with my other friend. She helped build some of this, including the restaurant itself. I honestly don't think I ever came up with a name for the place, but this is the restaurant. It has like a nice little garden entrance with nice little aesthetic. Unfortunately, a little bit overgrown, but you know, just take care of that real quick. And then if you look at it from the front, it has fountains. It has like nice little colored windows with flowers in it. You know, normal things. Then if you go in through the front door, standard restaurant sort of thing. I mean, aside from like the red carpet and all that, but there's bathrooms, which we're not going in because once again scaled down because I'm a lazy bastard. Then there's the bottom floor, which is for main groups. Then there's up top, which is for smaller groups or couples. But it could still work for a group, but just smaller ones. Lord, I'm redundant. And this area was built off an idea by me after my friend was telling me something about D&D, like his homebrew D&D stuff. So I decided to build somewhat a D&D world. I got my friends together and they helped me build it. But I decided to I intended to build an entire world with side quests and all. An entire D&D world in Minecraft, which, ambitious as it was, still kind of fell through because we never truly finished it, because, you know, ambition only gets you so far. But there's the library, This first area has a little secret in it, which I'll show towards the end. But directly out front would be the directly out front of the, I'd say, the more poorer district where you start off, or the adventurers district, uh, is the first dungeon of the game, or yeah, first dungeon of the map. It's supposed to have like a little puzzle there. There was an attempt put in, but as you can see, we use a different way in. Not sure if we ever settled on whether going up top with putting the treasure, or putting it down on the bottom floor. But this area was heavily inspired by Legend of Zelda, like the first dungeon of Ocarina of Time, if I'm saying that right. But yeah, I played the game myself. I loved as far as I got. So yeah, I decided to put like a little thing in there for that. The little giant skeletal system thing we'll get to later. This is the staple of D&D. Tavern. I I have heard, my friends have compared it to looking like the Krusty Krab, but anyway, it has ale or like little potions or things in the barrels. It has like a little trash thing out back. Dear Lord, I'm stuttering over my words. But now on to the more high-class district of the two cities that were currently implemented. It's supposed to have like a fully redstone gate. This is like a naturally occurring village, but the little merchant stall over there was my inspiration for that one was Stardew Valley. Also another fantastic game. But this is the garden area in the center, because you know, high class people, they love that shit. Or at least I think they do. I don't know, I'm not fucking high class. But most everything in this village was an actual village. We just repurposed it and refined it, made it look better. The mansion, however, was all my idea. I did this work mostly myself. There's supposed to be a ballroom in back there. This is his bedroom, which, you know, I never really got to working on. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the decoration. It was still an ambitious project. I wanted to make a cool little sigil with the carpet there. Hell if I know. And the problem is most of the purples in the game are not nearly dark enough for my taste. There's a joke that could be said there somewhere. But yeah, that one, it's still pretty much unfinished, but it's still a pretty damn good build for what is finished. Over here, the stables, and a little attempt at a vineyard. There's a good bit of iron golems, because, you know, they can afford the protection, as all good D&D things be. Now, going back over here, the thing that, the little dragon skeleton thing that I made over here, it's supposed to look like he's, over time, being buried under layers and layers of sand, but it got turned into an altar for the blood god. I'd say it looks pretty nice. It looks kind of wonky, but, you know, I took inspiration from this one from Fire Emblem Awakening, like the whole giant Grima skeleton. I thought it looked cool, and you know, then the next thing over here is like a normal pillager town, because, you know, I'm fairly certain this area was just most of the things in the poorer district I made myself, and it was not a recurring village. There's just a pillager tower next to it. Here's Charcoal's Dragon Forge, which one of my favorite parts of the build. I tried to make it look like the fire was coming out of the mouth, but unfortunately it could not. This is the inside of the treasure room, and then on to the next one. And finally, on to one of my more favorite builds. It's more intricate, but still pretty damn simple, as I focused more on one singular room instead of a massive build like the rest. However, this one, as you can see, has more emphasis on the cooler things, like moving bookshelves using redstone and red shit command block text, other such things. It's still really simple, as I am a very simple person and do not take the time to learn such intricate things such as full command blocks, commands, and sort of thing, and redstone, far beyond my mental capacity. But there's like the pop-out bookshelf with like a readable book, if I could ever get something to write down. There's references to other characters. This was a build mainly inspired for my friends. I made a Discord server for it, but I remade the location of the Discord server in Minecraft. It's mostly interactive, and I'm honestly rather quite proud of it. And I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.